Welcome back, listeners. This is Katie, and right now, it's just Katie. We are returned from our month-long break. However, I do want to just let you know that Bridget is going to be taking a little bit of a longer break. Girl is busy. Okay, she's working, she's making money, making that money. And just, maintaining her sanity, as we all try to do. So she will be back in June, okay? But we are going to be releasing some episodes. I am going to be hosting with some random people. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a surprise. I don't even know what's happening myself. So we're all going to be surprised. But Bridget will be back and look forward to that return. So enjoy these next couple episodes.
Sisters who've seen it. We are the sisters who've seen it. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, sisters who've seen it.
Hello!
I was trying to match your pitch. Hi!
Hi! Hello! You did great.
Oh my god.
Wow, listeners, do you recognize that voice?
Oh god.
They were
It's been a
on, I wish I got the number episode, our 500 Days of Summer. Was that the only one?
Yeah, that's my debut.
Cat's out of the bag, it's Jen! Miss Jenny!
Jenny!
Not Tom Hanks, Jenny.
Oh,
Or not Tom Hanks, Forrest Gump, Jenny.
That's me.
Yes, but we can dream. Jenny's here, special guest. We got a great movie, nostalgic movie for us as well, which we will get into. But I'm going to introduce ourselves. So, listeners, we are the Sisters Who've Seen It, the podcast where two sisters who are not movie critics look back on some of our favorites throughout the years through a psychological, ethical, and familial lens. I'm Katie.
I'm Jen!
And
I'm not Bridget.
Not Bridget. And you're a doorman. Doorman.
You're not God.
You're not God.
I wrote that down.
Oh my god. Jen, what's the movie this week?
Knocked Up.
Woo!
Which, in hindsight, we watched this movie so much when it came out. It's not that good.
It's not. I have a theory on why we watched it so much. And we can just rip the Band-Aid off now.
Yeah.
I think it was because at the time we were friends with Bitchit, who was not Bridget, my sister.
No,
it was
no.
a different human, who we did call Bitchit to her face. And she liked this movie, which is interesting and speaks things. So
She does have several children now.
I know. And did she marry a Seth Rogen?
I don't actually know anything about her. So
I don't know. But listeners, this, as Jen mentioned, is a movie we watched a lot in college, to the point where we, so myself, Jen, if you go back to our Children of the Corn episode with special guest Julie was also our roommate at the time, and Bitchit, and we paid a girl. How did we find this girl?
Not me.
We walked to a house we've never been to find a girl who was an artist who allegedly would make custom beer pong tables.
I don't know how you found this girl because Facebook was barely even a thing at this time.
I wonder if there was maybe one of the guys from Drumline had a custom beer pong table, and then maybe there was something.
Okay.
But yeah, we just showed up. We're like, hey lady, can we get a custom beer pong table? I think we each paid $20, so that's $80 in total. And all we told her was we want it to have movie quotes. Did we pick the theme? I don't even think we did.
I think it was way more than $20.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, I remember it being very expensive.
I don't remember. Did I only pay $20?
That tracks.
Damn it. So sorry. Oh, shit.
Yes, I don't know if we picked the overall theme, if you want to get into that,
Yeah.
but we did pick the quotes for each spot.
Yeah, I feel like we just were like, here's some movie quotes, and a lot of the quotes did come from Knocked Up. We also used quotes from Sex and the City, the movie.
Obviously.
Quotes from Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Which is superior by far to Knocked Up.
Definitely. Definitely
Okay.
a better movie than this. And
Yeah.
I can't, was there anything else?
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay.
We need the picture.
We need the picture. The beer pong table, she ended up doing a knockoff Monopoly, and she called it Slopopoly. And it was a legit Monopoly game board on this beer pong table, and each square had a different movie quote, and then it also had, like, I don't know, weird things. Oh my god, wait, Jen, this is coming back to me. Wasn't there a spot that said Julie's Temple?
Ugh, probably.
That lady wouldn't have came up with that on her own. There's no way.
No.
We're gonna have to reference with Julie.
I
because
just texted her. We'll see.
We also are convinced she has this table still in her basement. So
Hobbit hoarder house.
we'll Instagram post that later. But yes, so this movie, in short, we've watched a lot. We quote a lot. I wrote down all the quotes we used to say.
Me
All of
too.
them. Oh my god, we're so insane.
I was just thinking when I was watching this movie, I was like, oh my god, there's so many things that I say that are from this stupid god-awful movie.
Me too.
And I had no idea that they were from this.
Yeah, the one, it makes me sad all day. I say
makes
that
me sad all day.
often.
Me too.
Even though I'm not really sad all day, most times.
No, but when someone pisses me off, I'll just go, and it makes me sad all day.
All day. I feel like people don't know what I'm talking about. And then people are like, are you okay? And I'm like, oh, forget it.
Well,
Jeez.
this movie is like, how old now? What year did I didn't even do that much research.
So
How
this
old is
movie was 2007,
Okay.
which it feels very 2007 to me. It
does.
I felt like I wrote a lot of notes being like, this movie did not age the best.
Yes.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah. Jessica Simpson was the young talent that was coming to the Ryan Seacrest interview.
And and so many negative, I guess, comments on like Iraq and like Afghanistan. And I was like, can we? Oh dear. Like, let's just, oh god, here we are.
Also, like, it was peak, like, let's make fun of how stupid Jessica Simpson is. Like,
I hated that.
Let's have her point to Korea on a map. Like,
hated that. And of all people to do that, Ryan Seacrest.
Right.
Ryan? I swear to fucking God.
He kind of makes fun of himself. He's like, I have to leave at this time. It's American Idol. It's live. I have to be there. Like, I think that was kind of a play on, like, how stupid his job is.
I hope so. I mean, there are a lot of famous actors in this movie.
Oh my God. Pull up the IMDb page.
It's just a crazy amount. And even if it's not an actor playing a role, even just actors as themselves, because Katherine Heigl, who is our main character, Alison, her job is that she works for the E! Network. Is that even still a thing? That was another thing. I was like, E! Network, are you alive?
I don't know. I don't watch that channel if it is alive. But at one point in my notes, I did write down, what is the budget for this movie?
Because I don't know.
One, the star-studded cast. Two, their like how many different like scenes they had, like in different locations.
That's true. There was a lot.
They go to Cirque du Soleil. Like that must have cost money.
Those cost tickets. That's right.
We need to Google what is the budget.
Okay, I like that plan. But Jen, I do want you to do a little synopsis for the listeners.
Oh God. All right. Well, I just watched it, so you'd think this would be okay. So what I'm gonna say is that Katherine Heigl plays Alison, and she gets quote, knocked up by Seth Rogen, who is portrayed as a disgusting, quote unquote, fat man who is below her status, I guess, and the hotness level. And it's about their journey through her pregnancy.
Yeah.
Which, wasn't something that I remembered being interested in college.
It did feel a little long, this watch. I was like, holy shit, 2 hours?
I'm not gonna lie. I watched the second half of the movie on 1.5 speed.
You know what? I respect that. That's just called monetizing your time,
And then when it was like a scene that I knew that I liked, that was funny, like the doorman scene and the Cirque du Soleil scene and the chairs, I watched it at regular because I knew that those were great. But yeah, there was a lot of me just like driving through it to try to get through.
Yep, I felt that.
Which makes me kind of sad because we did love this movie so much. But again, I guess we were different back then.
Yeah, it does cater more towards like the early 20s children.
Oh, yeah.
I guess
at one
was
point,
us.
which was definitely us, but at one point they say that Seth Rogen's character, whose name is Ben, I'm going to continue to call him Seth Rogen, even though his name in the movie is Ben,
Yes.
is supposed to be playing 23.
Oh my God, yeah! I screamed.
I screamed.
23! Are you kidding me?
And then, what's her name? Judd Apatow's wife, whose name I always forget.
Leslie Mann.
Leslie Mann, of course. It's like, they're 23. He looks 33. Like, yes.
I mean, she's not wrong. And
No.
like, was he really, like, how old was he in real life when this...
I don't know.
God, it's more math. How old was Katherine Heigl's character supposed to be?
Because she doesn't look 23.
She's got an on-air job at E! And she's 23? I don't think so.
No.
The only thing that made Seth Rogen's age make sense was the fact that he didn't have a job and miraculously lived off of $14,000 for the last 10 years.
Well, he obviously didn't pay for anything over the last 10 years other than weed.
That's why I was like, that math ain't mathin'. But then
Right.
if he was only in his early 20s, I was like, that math might be mathin'. I don't know.
But then do the other men in the little house that they live in, do they have other jobs besides
I don't
the
think anyone
naked
has
website?
a job. Someone is definitely like a Nepo baby and like nobody talks about it. Like
Someone's paying for weed.
somebody has a trust fund that we just use, you know? The parents
Yes.
have left them. I don't know. Yeah, it was fucking weird. Wow. Well, Jen,
There's my synopsis.
that was great. That was excellent. Thank you very much. And Jen, I feel like we gotta give birth to this fact. We gotta let it out now because it is excellent and exciting and relevant. What was the other reason we picked this movie, Jen?
relevant. I am knocked up.
Woo!
Oh,
Didn't
boy.
Get knocked up from a one-night stand at a bar, though.
Thank God. I had a lot of things to say about the early stages of her pregnancy.
I cannot wait to hear it. 'Cause I know nothing, you know, so I am very excited for that.
Well, yeah.
All right. Well, Jen, we start off with, honestly, an opening I didn't remember, which is you see Seth Rogen and all his buddies, which there's, what, like 4 or 5 of them he lives with?
Sure.
All famous guys. We got Jason Segel, Jonah Hill, Jay, what's that guy's name?
Yeah, I know.
That guy. And then the guy who was in Freaks and Geeks, which I don't know if you ever saw, but
Of course I have. Love
Martin
that show.
Starr, Jay
yep.
Baruchel. Right. So they're all just kind of guys who don't work, who smoke weed and do stuff and like boobs.
And I had to Google the name of this song because as soon as the, keys started playing when the opening credits are on, I was like, nostalgia's hitting. Nostalgia's hitting. Do you know the name of this song?
No. Is it about
called...
boobs?
No.
Oh.
It's called Shimmy Shimmy Ya by
Shimmy,
Old
Shimmy
Dirty
Ya.
Bastard.
Amazing.
I know.
They're all white guys, by the way. Don't get it twisted.
Shimmy Shimmy Ya.
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting. So, great setup for them. And then we see the contrast, which is Katherine Heigl's character, whose name is Alison. She's like, Lala, I wake up with an alarm and I look nice and I have a real person job. And you're like, that's cool. Again, how old are you? But fine.
Okay, she has a real person job and an alarm clock, maybe, but she lives in a pool house.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you very much. I understand it's a recession. I mean, every decade we have a recession. I get it. I sympathize. We're experiencing it now. But, girl, what money are you making? Because
right. She does not have her shit together.
I don't know about it. And I did have concerns for her choices, and it made me worry that she also was a little immature in some ways. And I don't know. But yeah, she lives in the pool house of her sister and then brother-in-law, and they have 2 kids.
Yes.
And
who are Leslie Mann's children.
So cute. I love the little kids. And Paul Rudd is the husband/dad. And Paul Rudd, man, he's a Hollywood vampire. Tell you what.
He's probably my favorite part of this movie.
He's so good. And I do feel a lot of his lines were just improvised, which is even more exciting.
Yes.
But again, we see a lot of the dynamics set up pretty quickly. The husband and wife are fighting about, I don't even fucking know what. And she's like, who's gonna take the kids to school? And Katherine Heigl goes like, me. And Jen, here's the first quote I wrote. You Googled murder. She don't run the Google, but she Googled murder. Okay.
That is a one that we used to say. I don't think I use that one so much anymore, but
I want to like put it back in my vocab though.
Google murder.
And now here's also a series that I'm going to be asking you throughout this episode. Jen, how are you going to prevent your future child from Googling murder? Or are you just going to allow it and hope AI figures it out?
Can you prevent a child from Googling murder? I mean,
so.
I guess, I don't know. I don't know why a child would be interested in murder.
I don't know.
Unless they're a sociopath.
Allegedly, that scene was based on a true story where that kid did tell their dad, I Googled murder.
I was actually wondering how much of the children's scenes were improvised.
I think most of them were.
Because you can see on the older one's face that she's kind of like trying to hold back laughter when she's like describing murder, and then when she's describing birth, and when they're in the car, like you can see her like trying not to giggle. And I feel like that's just her being authentic.
The part where she goes, quiet, you're starting to annoy me, but she's like smiling. I'm like, it's so cute. Yes. They're freaking cute kids.
Oh, they really are. They're probably so old now. God, they're probably like...
Well, Judd
Apatow,
who is the older one, she was on Euphoria, which I don't think I'm ever going to watch. But yeah, she's doing acting stuff. I don't know. But we do see, so we see Katherine Heigl's job. Yes, Ryan Seacrest has a bitch fit. He's going to have a bitch fit. He has a bitch fit. It's great.
And is that a bit on his, like, how he is portrayed in Hollywood, or not?
I don't know.
I feel like it was.
You think that's how he is
I
in
think
real
he
life?
was making fun of himself a little bit.
Like, he's just playing himself. There was no, like,
I think he was, beefing it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, over-exaggerating for the movie, which a lot of this movie is over-exaggerated. But...
Yes. Well, that's why I'm like, is the E! Network still a thing? Ryan, what's your job now?
I don't know.
We do get also, pretty quickly, amazing cameos, and this is Kristen Wiig and Alan Tudyk, who does a lot of, like, voice acting. He's pretty funny. But Kristen Wiig, like, wasn't like the Kristen Wiig we know now. This was, like, her early years, which is wild.
Know. I actually totally didn't even realize she was in this movie.
Yeah.
And her one-liners are hilarious.
Oh my God, they're so good. She just is hating on Katherine Heigl, but in a passive-aggressive way. It's
they liked you. I didn't really.
Or when they talk about working out, and she's like, we can't really, like, say that, but, like, Titan. Titan. I wrote that, too.
I don't want to overgeneralize losing weight everywhere. Just
Titan. Jen, I swear to God, if anyone at your work fucking says this to you, I will appear and hit them with a baseball bat. Okay?
I would already be out the door. No, that would never happen.
Oh,
but then it, like, literally cuts to a scene with Katherine Heigl and her sister. And Katherine Heigl's wearing this little skimpy little tank top. And it's like, she could not lose 20 pounds.
No. Where's it gonna come from?
Right. Jesus.
No, I don't know. Yeah.
So, over-exaggeration.
There's a lot of that. And, like, it's kind of done from the lens of, like, see, isn't television crazy? And I'm like, yeah, but, like, Hollywood does the same stuff. So I don't know if this is, like, I don't know. It feels a little self-referential, and I don't like it.
Yes, I agree.
I don't like it, but guess what? Now we have a scene where she got a promotion. She's going to do on camera. We're going to celebrate. The only way to celebrate in 2007 is to go to the club.
Right. And this, like, late 30s and, like, maybe early 30s woman just, like, saunter up and got all these people in line.
The fucking line. Listen, you guys, I go to the club one night a year, okay? One night a year. It's coming up, MDW. And let me tell you, I can't do that. I can't cut the line.
You're waiting in line. You're in your mid-30s. You're waiting in line.
Oh, you're on the line. And it's absolutely wild. And the same night, Seth Rogen and all his buddies, just cuz, are at the club. I'm not gonna lie, they kind of don't seem like the clubbing type of men.
How did they get in?
Feel like they're more the type of men to, like, sit on a dusty couch in a garage with no electricity. But
right. But they are 23. They're all 23. So
I don't know, but we do have a line here. I feel like this was on the table, but correct me if I'm wrong. It's not herpes if it's everywhere.
I wrote that
one. Okay, good. I thought so. I was like, that definitely sounds like.
I also wrote, "Am I hotter than these little bitches?"
Little bitches. So good.
And then she whips out her flip phone and Ben's like, oh, cool phone.
Oh my God. And even just like, I don't know, some of the outfits, I was like, a lot of sparkles, a lot of like not neon, but like it's going to turn into neon at one point.
Jason Segel, whatever his name is, his jacket did not do it for me.
Yeah, no. And you know what happens when you're at the club? You get drunk, you pity dance with a guy who is nice to you one time. I don't know if I totally believe it. I feel like there were other men in this club, Catherine. I don't know. This is
Seth
where I
Rogen
started to doubt her decision-making skills, if you will.
Seth Rogen was with other men who were cuter. The little guy with the
Jay,
yes,
yeah,
with
fun.
the
He's like,
Canada tattoo.
Right.
He's adorable.
Yeah, and even we don't need to just stick with those guys.
We branch out.
Def some others, but no, we hook up with Seth Rogen. She brings him. This bitch brings him back all the way to her sister's pool house.
It's a big yikes.
And does a bone. And wow.
And he completely misinterprets her, directions to be hurrying up.
The line she says is, it's like, get on with it or something?
Yeah, just do it already.
He takes, it felt like 5 fucking minutes trying to put a condom on. I mean...
Now, I don't have a ton of experience with putting a condom on a penis.
Well...
But why does it take
10 minutes
Seth Rogen so long to do it?
That's a great question. And nobody answers it. And this is yet another reason, women, why we need to be responsible for our own birth control, whether it's a pill or something else, or you put the condom on. Because
a dental dam.
I don't trust nobody, okay? I would put it on myself and be like, now we wasted time. I'm sleepy.
Why? I really didn't understand that. Why is he because he's doing it in the dark and he's drunk maybe, but
he wasn't drunk enough to be like, I do have a condom, let me get it, and then open it and do that whole rigmarole. So it didn't age great, I feel like, because I'm like, that's just not, I don't think that's real life. But we needed to get her knocked up, I suppose.
That's where I thought he was struggling at first. I was like, oh, he can't get it out of the wrapper because he's in the dark and under the covers. But then he throws the actual condom on the floor.
Yep.
So he did get it out of the wrapper. So his struggle was putting it on his own penis.
Yep.
Okay. As long as I wasn't the only one who...
No. You weren't. You sure fucking weren't. What would have made more sense would have been oh, we're having sex and the condom broke. That's
right.
That's more normal, but I don't know. We didn't do that. So, Yeah. Then the next morning, Katherine Heigl's like, I gotta go to work. And I'm like, bitch, what are your work hours? Why are we clubbing on a work night?
Katie at the club.
What?
The song.
Which one?
Oh shit, shake that ass, mama. I think it's called Swing. I don't know who's by.
Definitely. Yeah, by Tipsy? Let me see your hips swing, swing. Is that Tipsy?
I thrived on that song.
Wow.
In college.
Okay.
Sorry.
Good
Just had
know.
to bring that up before we moved on to
Frickin' love that.
Morning after.
Well, we have another line, Jen, because
they're
doing, it's kind of a walk of shame, but not really. And they're like, we're going to go get breakfast, whatever, bye. And this is where Paul Rudd's bringing the kids, I guess, to school, maybe. And he's like, see that? Don't do what they did. And the little girl goes, I'm gonna do it. You are? Uh-oh.
Someone's getting homeschooled.
I do want you to adopt that into your vocab for your future child.
One of my lines that I say a lot is, I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it.
I had no idea why. It's something that I've always just said. And now I'm like, oh, here it is.
She says it's so cute, too.
I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it. Oh my God. It's just so fucking awesome.
Okay, so they're cute, but then back to Ben and Alison.
Not cute, those two.
Well, okay, but here's the thing. He appears to be this, he's supposed to be, grungy and dirty and sweaty and gross fat man.
Okay.
But then he says, when he wakes up, and he says, do you want to go get breakfast?
Yeah. Jen,
That's
this
nice.
is... It's nice, but here's the thing. The bar is low. The bar is just... it's like, please don't forget it took him 80 minutes to put a condom on, and he couldn't even do it. So, like,
the whole movie.
I mean, there are minute to win it games that people can accomplish that are more complicated than that. All right.
I agree.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
he does offer to go to breakfast with her.
he does. Do we think he paid?
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yes.
He doesn't have any money.
This is where I have conflicting feelings, because there are a lot of criticism that came out about this movie later in life was that it portrays women as like naggy and shrews, and it portrays men as like hip and cool and funny, LOL, like they're so go with the flow. And there are parts that feel that way, and then there are parts that I think are done well, and that's fine. But like, again, to me, like, oh, let's go to breakfast. If you invite me to breakfast and I sit down with you and then I find out you have no money, I'm not going to call you again.
No. Well, she doesn't.
Well, but I know, but then there are other decisions she does make, and I hate it. I felt like they kind of wrote her not, like, I don't know. I don't want to say dumb because I don't like that, but like I felt like they made her a little like she settles. Like, she settles. And I'm like, I don't think that's real life.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, everything in this movie is over exaggerated. So of course the like grungy, dirty, quote, fat guy is going to get this beautiful, skinny, well-to-do girl. That's just the trope that they went with.
Hate it.
But the quote that I wrote down from breakfast is definitely not something I've ever said in passing, but it was, "I'll show it to you. I'll show you Meg Ryan's bush." That sent me.
Is there a line he follows up where he's like, they should have called that When Harry Met Sally's Bush or something?
Yeah. She should have been called Harry.
So funny. Oh my God. Yeah. But she leaves and she's like, okay, bye. She gives him her business card. Girl, we don't need to give out pity business cards. No,
he gives her his business email. They're in business together.
The only business card I'm handing out is for the podcast. And if some guy really wants to date me, you better listen, like, subscribe, and leave a review written.
There you go.
Otherwise, go fuck yourself. And in all pregnancy movies, Jen, it's almost like it's a requirement. There is one scene. It's a couple seconds. And I just think it's so funny that every movie's like, gotta show it for the metaphor. Is like mitosis. Like cellular mitosis. Yes. I just want one movie where I'm not looking at a science experiment. Just one.
Well, my takeaway from that was after the mitosis scene, the next scene is her talking, or she throws up or whatever. We can go back to that. But then when she's talking to her sister, she says something about how it's been 8 weeks. Okay, so you do something 2 months ago and you're going to reference it in weeks? No,
I'm not.
Nobody,
Definitely
unless
not.
You're very pregnant, nobody references anything in weeks.
Oh, so that was already wrong.
Yes.
How is it referenced?
They're like talking on the bed and she's like Katherine Heigl's thinking that she's pregnant and the sisters are on the bed and the sister's like, well, like, when was that one night stand with that guy? And Katherine Heigl's like, couldn't be that. That was 8 weeks ago.
Oh, so you mean, I see what you're saying. So she would have been like 2 months or
that
in
was like
March,
months ago. Right.
I thought you meant there was like a pregnancy language where we don't talk about weeks. And I was like, I don't know the language.
No, because now that I am pregnant, I think in weeks. But before, nobody talks in the length of weeks unless it was like 2 weeks ago. After 2 weeks, like everything's months or just back in time.
Now, Jen, I do have a question for you as a now pregnant woman. When you were looking to see if you were pregnant, did you and your wife, Caitlin, frantically sprint to CVS, run through the aisles?
Of course we did.
800 pregnancy tests.
Every single one.
Costs a lot of money. And then did you panic pee for 8 hours? What do you think?
Okay. Here's what we did. We bought the pack of pregnancy sticks.
What pack?
In like a 20 pack because they're just little strips.
Yeah.
And then we bought one that was like, whether it says like yes or no, because we wanted to like have that moment when we did get pregnant.
So you guys are normal. But good. Yeah.
We didn't sprint through the store to get them. No. We just kind of were like shopping. We were like, oh, we're going to be pregnant soon. We should buy these. This will be fun.
Yeah.
Again, my pregnancy was very different from Katherine Heigl's.
I suppose, but planned. I just still feel like that's not what women are doing. We can walk and get...
Everything in this movie is so over exaggerated.
I know.
every little thing.
It's a lot. And then, yes, like, okay, looks like you're pregnant. And then this is where she fucking is like, guess I gotta email the one night stand. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know. I don't know if I would have done that.
Yeah, I
don't
might have
know.
just been like, what are the chances of me ever seeing this person again?
Yeah. I feel like it's more trouble than it's worth. Is that rude or real?
It's not herpes if it's everywhere.
It's not herpes if it's everywhere. And this is where they have dinner. We find out more about Ben. He's an illegal immigrant from Canada.
I wrote that down. I was like, I don't remember that part.
I don't either. And I'm like,
are the friends all illegals? Is his
don't-
father, who he meets with later, an illegal?
That's a great, I don't know any of those answers. That's a great
No.
question.
It's just
And then
bizarre.
this is where we find out he doesn't have a job, but he's been living off of a $14,000 check he got 10 years ago because he got run over by a mail truck, or his foot got run over. And that him and his friends are going to make a website that tells people what parts in movies only women are naked.
Right.
What if I want to see a peen? Can't use your
You
website.
can't use that. You can go to Mr. Skin.
You're slashing
But
your
you
market in
can't.
half. I'm just
Oof.
saying they were not well thought out businessmen. Okay?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
The whole business plan model is trash.
Yep.
Trash.
It's bad. And I hate when she tells him and he's like, fuck you. And like, it's like, haha, it's funny, but like, this like made me mad.
Yeah. He did not react well to this news.
He
But
was
again,
like-
he's supposed to be 23.
I guess. But in my head, I'm like, this is all your fault, Ben, because you can't put a condom on. You were smoking in the bathroom during sex ed when they were teaching that on the banana.
I wrote down some of the lines from this conversation.
What the hell is a dental dam? That's a great one. I like that one.
I'm pregnant with emotion.
That might have been one on the board now that I think about it.
It might have been.
Oh
It
my
might have
God.
been. And then also, was your vagina drunk?
That one I wrote down. That was definitely on the board, and I feel like we said that a lot.
I
Oh,
do believe that I have
no.
used that line quite a
Wow, it is applicable, you know?
bit. Was your vagina drunk?
Another reference to, I don't think this is real life, but here we go, is she brings her one night stand to the gynecologist.
I think, the movie, the people who are writing, producing, directing this movie are trying to make it seem like she is including him in the entire process.
Okay.
If I was Katherine Heigl, or not Katherine Heigl so much as if I was Alison, I would not have done that. It's not
Definitely
the move
not.
I would have made. But I do,
no.
before the over-exaggeration, I do think that's why they did that. But yeah, he doesn't need to go to your first gynecologist appointment.
No, and when the gyno walks in, the gynecologist ignores Katherine Heigl and only addresses Ben and then shakes his hand. And I was literally like, I'm gonna flip a table. I swear to God.
That is true. That he shakes his hand.
Goddamn.
He's a famous actor too, though, that guy. Another budget.
Everybody, man. And she's pregnant, officially. She starts
Oh.
hysterically crying. Oh,
Here's
Jen,
where my notes come in.
gyno fact checking. Here we are.
Maybe because I was 4 weeks pregnant when I found out,
Okay.
obviously, because it was on purpose.
Yeah.
The first thing we did was a blood test.
Oh.
So he's like, okay, legs up. Let's see what we got going on here. I'm like, he's going to look in her vagina
he
to
gets
see if
in
she's
there.
pregnant.
Yeah, he gets in there quick.
So then eventually, now that when they say oh, you're 8-9 weeks long, then I'm like, oh, okay, you do have to do an, what was it called? I think it's intravaginal
Yes.
ultrasound.
The stick
so
thing. Yeah.
I got it after a bit, but at first I was enraged.
Yeah, I didn't like any of it. Also, our episode last week was teeth, and
Ugh.
there was also a gynecologist scene in that, but it was really bad, and oh god, so that was
Scarred.
just
Scarred.
I'm on
scarred.
edge watching some of these, but
Well, luckily that doesn't happen in this scene.
yeah, and Ben tells his friends having a baby. It's being told as they smoke weed, and this is where we get another line we would say all the time: smoshsmortions.
Rhymes with shush. We
rhymes
actually
with-
called a girl in our hallway that.
We did. Wait,
Because
why
we
did we
didn't know how to
call her
pronounce-
that?
Because we didn't know how to pronounce her last name, so we just called her Katherine Smoshsmorsions.
I was gonna say she did not have a smoshsmortion.
No, she didn't.
No, we
She
liked
didn't.
her. Did she know
We
we called
loved
her
her.
that?
I don't know.
She had Degrassi on DVD.
She did. We loved her.
We did. I loved her. Yeah, smoshsmortion. That's a great one.
But that is something we did say a lot. Rhymes with smoshsmortion.
Rhymes with smoshsmortion. I want members of Congress to start using that when they talk about abortion, since they're so like, gas, clutching my pearls. Just call it a smoshsmortion so I can laugh at you.
There you go.
There
Everything will be okay.
Let's make it a little better.
No one will know what you're talking about, and you can stop talking about it altogether, men who don't have any business talking about it. Is that what I said?
Please and thank you. Next scene, again, a little unrealistic in my opinion. We see both parents.
Ooh.
It's Katherine Heigl's mom that we see, and then we see Ben's dad. And Katherine Heigl's mom is basically like, I am pro smoshsmortion.
Right. Which is fine. That's her choice.
Okay.
Don't push your opinions on people, ma'am.
Listen, I know your mom and my mom are different ladies and we love them both, but I just feel like that's not what my mom would have said. But my mom also was like very religious, so.
Well, I don't actually know my mom's opinion on abortion. My mom is quite liberal, but she also has a touch of religion.
I think it's also like the age thing where I'm like, in 2007, those parents were like, maybe even the generation before boomers at that, you know, like.
Oh, now I want to see what my mom's opinion on abortion is.
Okay, ask her. And then ask her.
I have a feeling she's pro.
Ask her how she'd feel if it was from a guy who smokes weed every day that's an illegal immigrant with no job that you had sex with once at a bar. See what she says. I just thought that was very interesting, and I understood why, because the points made were points to consider. This will change your life as a woman. It is something that sometimes it feels like a trade-off with like becoming a parent in your career and blah blah, and you're by yourself and bloody blue and all that stuff. And then for fucking Ben, the dad is like, yay, baby.
I think that's a famous actor too.
That is Harold Ramis, who is a Ghostbuster.
Oh, okay.
Who has passed away, but we love to see him. It's Harold Ramis. Oh. It's a great cameo. I love him.
Yes. He plays a very, very sweet father figure who just is like, I'm smoking weed still, and I love my kid, and we may not be in this country legally, but we love each other.
We may or may not be legal immigrants, but we're here, and we're ready to go, so.
Okay. My mom answered. I said,
hot off the press.
Are you pro-life or pro-choice?
Oh my God.
And she said, wow.
That is not an answer, Barb.
No. Then she said she's pro-choice.
Oh, so Barb and Starr.
That's kind of what I think. Oh, she's still typing, so I don't know. She'll have more to add, but that's what I kind of figured.
I still do feel like the context matters, but
yes,
you know. So Alison, no more thought or discussion or research, is like, anyway, keeping the baby. I'm not going to tell my job for
I'm going to do the opposite of what my mom said.
As long as humanly possible. Let me go let Ben know. And Ben's like, yay. And then this is where it becomes, for me, you know, a fantasy movie made up, not based in reality. She's like, now I guess I'll go date Ben. And I'm like, is that what we do? Or
is that the next step?
Hate it. Like, you could date someone else, you know?
You could date anyone,
you could
girl.
date anybody you like. You don't need to be tied down to this man. And, you know, it's just a lot of scenes of her, like, again, the contrast of, like, oh, she's, like, put together, and he's derp and smokes weed. Right. And I don't know. It was...
I felt like in a normal situation, they could have just been like, we'll handle this together, but separately.
Yeah.
I have no interest in you.
She'll be like, I would have you pay child support, but you have $14,000 that isn't that much money anymore, so...
He only has $900 left that he thinks he can stretch out for 2 more years.
That was a line, wasn't it? Jesus Christ. You know, I might be a little biased, too, because I do feel I have a little PTSD that this could have been my life had I stayed with one of my high school boyfriends.
Oh, God!
Who did smoke weed every day. And it made me nervous when I watched this, and I was like, oh my God, that could have been me. Jesus
I hope he's
Christ.
listening. I hope he's a listener.
He is now a dad. So,
of course.
I know. Well, so he might have had his own knocked up experience. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. I wish him well.
Oh.
But, Jen, I also have another question. Do you think Paul Rudd's character in this movie is depressed?
I think he's perfect.
Wow. Okay. Well,
I love Paul Rudd's character in most things that he's in. I don't think there's anything I've ever seen where I'm like, ugh, Paul Rudd was terrible in that. So good. But this movie, like I said, he made it for me. He made this movie worth watching for me.
But his whole character personality is that he is kind of like, you know, because he's a dad and he's a husband and he's kind of like, LOL, I make jokes, but also I'm going to talk about how marriage ruins lives and everything's sad and lonely and all your dreams explode and you can't do anything. And then Ben's like, what? And he's like, anyway, let's hang out. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean?
I do think he just over-exaggerated everything.
Right.
Because this whole movie is over-exaggerated.
That's Jen's slogan for the movie. One sentence review is over-exaggerated.
Over-exaggerated.
All of it was exaggerated.
Period.
You know what was not exaggerated was an amazing scene, which this is just, I love this scene so much because it's got the two little girls in it where they're having breakfast and the little kids are asking the real talk. They're like, who the fuck is this guy? And then she's like, he's my boyfriend, which I was like, whoa, quick word, quick label, but okay.
Okay.
And the kids are like, I've never seen you before.
It's new.
Who are you? And then they talk about we're having a baby. And I hope this is how you handle the circumstance. If your child says, where do babies come from? I want you to say, where do you think they come from? And then I want you to record whatever they say. Because what this kid said was absolutely amazing.
I think the stork comes and there's a hole in your head and he drops it in. And then your butt falls off. And then there's a lot of blood.
You
and
dig
then you
in the butt.
Dig. And then you have a baby.
You find a little baby. That's exactly right.
Leslie Mann. That's exactly right.
Oh my God, it's so good.
And the little one, so sweet. When Leslie Mann's like, yes, he drove from his house in his car to here for breakfast because he loves breakfast so much.
He loves breakfast so much.
I love breakfast.
I love breakfast. Oh my
They're so
God,
cute.
I love them so much.
So they're boyfriends now. They're a boyfriend-girlfriend situation,
Just
which is
a little pedal to the floor, if you ask me, but fine.
Right, okay.
Fucking fine. And then we see some scenes of, like, they're shopping for baby stuff together. This is where they run into, like, some of Alison's, I guess, friends, and then he's like, yeah, she's pregnant, and they're like, what? I just saw you a couple months ago. And then he's like,
see, months. Normal people talking months.
Oh, yeah. And then he's like, yeah, you know, it's a funny story. You know what they say? Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and bone.
Yes.
Also, okay, question. Was it just me, or did this movie reference Spider-Man 3?
At least twice.
It was like, I think like 3 times.
Yeah, it was a lot. They were promoting Spider-Man 3.
Like Ben and his friends were like, Spider-Man 3 is starting in 8 minutes. We gotta go. And then
I like Spider-Man.
He talks about he wants to see Spider-Man. And then Katherine Heigl interviews James Franco, which again didn't age well, everybody. Watch his hands, Katherine. And he's like, yeah, I'm in Spider-Man. And they're talking about Spider-Man. And I was like, what's going on with Spider-Man?
Why are they being like promoted?
And where the fuck is Tobey Maguire if we're gonna talk about Spider-Man? Get out of my face.
Maybe that's where their budget came from.
Oh, reference. It was like free advertising for Spider-Man.
We'll give you money if you say Spider-Man 3
three times. And they did. They sure fucking did. It might have even been more and I blacked out. I don't know.
I heard it twice, but and then the James Franco reference, that's the third reference.
It was a lot. Sure. It was a lot. Now, Jen, you are also a married woman, and I gotta ask you, would you say yes to someone who proposes to you with an empty ring box? Because
empty box.
I feel like my answer is no.
A moment of silence for the empty box.
Okay. It's very sad to look at. So.
I mean, I have notes in the end that I took after the movie ended about Ben's character development. And I do feel like him proposing with an empty box just shows a softer side. He's not a disgusting drug addict, dirty, grimy guy. He got where did he get the ring box from is one thing. He just went to the jewelry store and said, can I have an empty box?
My mind went to trash picking, but that might be harsh.
He does talk about getting a crib out of the alley behind his house, so that tracks. I mean, I think the point was supposed to make him appear softer and lovable. I think Alison handles this very well. She doesn't outright say, no, you're a dinkus.
Yeah.
She's just like, no, but like, how nice.
Yeah, she's like, let's relax, you know. We can call each other boyfriend, girlfriend after one night, but we cannot get engaged. And I was like, oh dear.
And then he turns it around and he's like, I just thought you wanted to get engaged. I didn't realize, like.
I mean, not helping the proposal,
Toxic,
bro.
man.
Pick a side, jeez.
Pick a lane.
And now we have a subplot, Jen, of Leslie Mann's character, whose name is Debbie. I don't know if we said that.
I don't think we did.
Okay, her name is Debbie. She's married to Paul Rudd, whose character's name is Pete. Debbie thinks that Pete might be cheating on her.
In Debbie's defense.
Yeah.
He is kind of emotionally cheating on her.
I agree with that, and this is why I also thought, like, he might be clinically depressed, and we're all just, like, not acknowledging it, and, like, maybe he should just see a therapist, like the rest of us. I don't know.
Okay, fair.
Just, like, worried about him. I'm worried about the choices.
We're not at the fight scene yet. We haven't gotten there. But there is a line that Debbie says, I think she says it to Alison, where she's just talking about her marriage problems.
Yeah.
And she says, you criticize them a lot, and then they get so down on themselves that they're forced to change.
So bad.
So is he depressed, or is he just being, like, hammered down?
Or is it both?
By Debbie?
But see, that's why that was a part I didn't love, because I was like, I don't know any women that are actually like this, or at least not like self-aware enough to admit that's what they're doing if it's happening.
You know who came to mind immediately? God, I hope she doesn't listen to this podcast. Maybe I won't say her name, but it's somebody we both know. Can you like bleep it out?
I can bleep it out. Yeah, I know. Oh God.
But the next scene, I think, the next scene I wrote down, is Daryl from The Office.
Ah, the doorman. Doorman. He's a doorman.
You are not God.
Wait, hold on. I think we skipped
Uh-oh.
the earthquake, which I do want to talk about.
Oh, I didn't write anything about that down.
Oh my
God. Do it for me.
Girl, there's an earthquake. Katherine Heigl and Ben. Why would she stay at his place ever in the history of ever?
Well, he forgot anyway.
I don't want to stay there. It's gross. And they like kind of are having sex, and then it's like, oh, I don't want to poke the baby with my penis.
Oh, was that this scene? Oh, God.
And then, well, that's like before the earthquake, and she's like, you're not even close. And I'm like, LOL, that's silly.
Female anatomy is hard.
I was going to say, just like read a book, and I think you'll be soothed about that concern.
Well, we find out after the earthquake, he did not read the baby books.
He didn't read the baby books. He also didn't fucking care where Katherine Heigl was during the earthquake, and he saved his bong.
He said he forgot she was there.
That's worse than...
he
That's even worse. He could have at least lied and said, I knew you'd get out okay, or something. But no.
He does all this work to save this one very large bong, and then literally a flashing light comes, and he goes, oh shit, the cops, and he smashes the thing.
Yep.
So what was all that work for? You didn't even care about that bong, obviously, enough to not smash it.
He doesn't care about anything, Jen. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't read the baby books. You didn't save Katherine Heigl. It's fucking bullshit. He doesn't support Katherine Heigl when she's like, my sister thinks Pete's cheating on her. We're gonna go, and we're gonna, like, follow and find out where he's going. And he's like, no, leave Pete alone. I like Pete. And he does say a line where he's like, yeah, Pete's awesome, and Debbie, like, is annoying. And I'm like, ew, like, it's just one of those moments where I'm like, if this was written by a lady, I feel like the tone would have been very different.
Okay, well, maybe I'm looking at it from a different perspective, and I'm thinking, why does Ben have to go on this?
He really doesn't, actually.
Like, it should just be Katherine Heigl and her sister, and they can be portrayed as crazy women together. Why is Ben even included?
Maybe she's trying to, like, subtly wean him off weed, and, like, she's like, you can't smoke a bong when we're chasing down Pete, so I don't know.
I guess.
Although he probably could have, so...
But I know that Katherine Heigl is going along with this because she is raging with hormones at this point, because I feel it.
Yeah.
So no matter what Debbie's crazy ideas are, Katherine Heigl's like, yes, that's what's happening.
I feel like if any, if you or any other best best friend or any of my siblings were like, this person's cheating on me, I'm down to clown. I will go with you, emotionally support you. I'll be there to yell if yelling's warranted.
You are that friend. Did all that happen before the Daryl scene?
It did, because we basically find out that Paul Rudd was not cheating on Leslie Mann. He was doing a fantasy baseball draft.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
But why couldn't he just say, I'm going to a fantasy baseball draft tonight?
He needs his me time, and he doesn't want her to get mad at him for having quiet me time.
So he couldn't say he was going to a fantasy baseball draft? Wait, but that's not...
They have problems. They need marriage counseling.
I know! There's a lot of counseling that's needed, and I hate it. And this is where she brings up, I like Spider-Man 3. And I was like, God damn, Spider-Man. Yeah. Take a sip every time they reference Spider-Man 3.
Oh,
guys.
God.
It's a lot.
Only 3 sips.
But they break up. Because they break up. And then Katherine Heigl and Ben, I feel like, have their own little breakup somewhere. Oh, so when they're going to the one appointment and she kicks him out of the car.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's being a little bitch.
Agree with her.
My vagina will never be the same after this.
I will pay for reconstructive surgery.
You can't even afford spaghetti. I was like, these are all valid points. Nothing being said is a lie. So, oh my God.
These are valid points, but she should have had these thoughts before she was hormonally charged.
Calling him her boyfriend, perhaps?
For no reason.
Do you even know his values? Do you even know if he's pro-choice or pro-life? Okay, I feel like that's an important value we need to agree on. I don't know.
Well, sure.
They break up. So now both women are... like, whatever. And then Leslie Mann's like, we're gonna be positive. And then she...
How many Red Bulls have you had today?
Being positive means you go back to the club. Again, not where I would go.
We're still in our late 30s.
Yep.
We're going to the club, but now we're 7 months pregnant.
And we are with Daryl from The Office. And he's the doorman. You're a doorman. Freaking doorman. He doesn't let him in. Or he doesn't let them cut the line.
His little line of,
I know. I'm sorry. It's so good.
I know. I wrote down,
I know. Oh my God, it's so fucking good. And meanwhile, the women are getting rejected at cutting the line of the club, which isn't that big of a reject, but fine. And the men, Ben and Pete, go to Vegas. Be ready for what I'm about to say to you.
Uh-oh.
They go to Vegas, and the first scene we see is them with strippers. A very public lap dance, by the way. I don't believe that's typically... I've
never been to Vegas.
I haven't been to Vegas. I haven't got a lap dance. But do lap dances happen in the middle of the room where other people are? Is that a lap dance?
They do on sitcoms and TV shows.
Oh. Well, do you want to take a guess who one of the strippers was?
Is it somebody famous?
It's someone pretty topical.
Uh-oh. Is it Stormy Daniels?
Yes! No! Which I only found out watching the end credits.
Oh.
And it said her name.
Did they even show their faces? All I remember is their booties.
I don't think we know, but I mean, one was blonde, so I feel like that was her, unless she had different hair color. I don't know. But that's what the credits said. So, wow.
That's amazing. I'm so glad she got a credit for that.
Well, good. I hope she got paid from that Spider-Man 3 money, because
get her money.
Girl needs it from what she went through. Jesus Christ.
We love us a Stormy Daniels.
They get strippers. They go to Cirque du Soleil on mushrooms. Bad decision. And then
that's a bad decision.
They're sad in the hotel room, and this is where he says, he's talking about the chairs. There are 5 different chairs here. And this one is very droll.
The small one is very droll. The tall one is gawking at me.
And a line that I say, and we referenced this before, it makes me sad all day.
It makes me sad all day.
She loves you so much, and you reject it, and Alison doesn't even care about me. It makes me sad all day. And I was like, oh my God, guys.
Every time he says a "buh," he overpronounces it, because he's just so high on the mushrooms, I guess.
So fucking high. How did they get home? Jesus Christ. Felt like that would be a long come down.
You're gonna judge me
all right.
for the next line I wrote down.
Okay.
And my wife is probably listening in the next room over.
Love you, girl. All right.
But I love spending time with my wife, so don't get me wrong. But
Caitlin, are you listening?
Paul Rudd says, the biggest problem in our marriage is that she wants to spend time with me. She wants me around. I feel that.
Jen, this makes me sad all day.
And like I said, I love spending time with her and I love doing things with her. So it's not a really, I don't go into like secret fantasy football meetings or like lie to her about anything, but I totally agree.
I really fucking wish after you said that, in the background of your screen is like a chair. I wish like her head slowly came up from behind the chair. Like, I'm listening.
Oh, I just said Caitlin and she said what? Did you hear what I just said?
Have to listen to the podcast. Click like, subscribe.
She'll have to listen. Never mind.
Never mind. We'll get there.
She has her headphones in too.
Well, everything's fucking falling apart. It's not good. There's a birthday party where then there's kind of conversations. Leslie and Paul make up off camera. Who the fuck cares? Fine.
Did you get the pink cupcakes? No.
No.
Oh, it's fine.
It's fine. Now our marriage is strong. Hey. Alison and Ben do not make up because she's like, I think we're different people. And, you know, we tried, but it's just not going to work. So, you know, I'm saying it nicely and you're nice and we respect each other and go team. And I was like, that would be the best ending ever.
Right. It's a little like Vince Vaughn, Jennifer Aniston, the breakup where like we tried it. I got knocked up and now we're broken up. And we're gonna do this separately.
And it's mutual, and like life, like it's a good decision, you guys.
It's not mutual. Ben loves her. He wants to be with her.
Love is a strong word.
He says he loves her when he proposes, and she says she loves him back. Which I was like, no, you don't.
I know she don't. You know, she said she called him her boyfriend after like one night.
And she said she loved him. I love you too. I was like, when she said that, I was like,
that's why.
In what way have you shown that?
That's why I question her life choices and decision making skills. But, Jen, now we have the scene. It is birth time. We go into contractions, which, you know, this movie did do, I don't know, do you think this movie did an okay job portraying birth and stuff? Because I think movies will often be like, the birth is happening! And it's like, it actually takes like a while, guys. Like, chill.
Katie, have you ever seen a birth?
Yeah, in our health class, we watched the birth,
in like 6th grade.
The birth video. 6th grade! Jesus Christ, no, we were like seniors in high school, you sicko.
Oh, okay. So only like 15 years ago.
In the video we watched, they had to snip the lady, which I was like, why is this the video we picked?
What's that called? There's a name for that. I just read about that.
Yeah, I don't know. They had to do a snippy. It was bad.
Yeah.
I hated it.
So I also watched, you know, that birthing video from the early 2000s, late 90s or whatever it was. And then, you know, as I'm preparing for this journey myself, I have seen a couple of other different kinds of births.
Oh, God.
And I will say, when Jay walks in on Katherine Heigl, and he sees the crowning,
that didn't look like full crowning, though.
I agree.
Okay.
I was like, that's barely anything. That is like her vagina opening.
Yeah, I was like, we still got a long ways to go. From what I see.
Yeah. They barely show anything. And I remember when this movie came out, I was like, oh my God! Why would they include that?
I got more upset that he just walked in the room because I was like, how fucking dare you? But you're just busting into birthing rooms like an animal?
There's no way that would be like a thing. Like there's probably like double doors that close that you can only get in if you're a part of, you know,
like we're security, process. Okay?
Right.
We got a complicated order with this. Oh my
Baby
God.
snatchers up in here.
I don't like it. I don't fucking like it. But Alison calls Ben and she's like, I need my doctor. The doctor's at a goddamn bar mitzvah. Is this also, this part, I was like, don't you just go to whatever hospital you're supposed to go to? Like, do you have to wait till you talk to the doctor on the phone? I mean, like...
I guess if she thought maybe she was having, like, false contractions, like Braxton Hicks, but she's, like, well on her way to having a child.
That's why I was like, why don't you just go to the hospital and, like, figure it out, lady? Why were you in the bath?
And I think it's supposed to be, like, the middle of the night, so, like, the doctor's not, like, working, so the doctor has to get there, so she has to call the doctor and say, I'm gonna head to the hospital tonight, it's happening now, and the doctor would hopefully be like, hey, meet you there. But I love all the Jewish references.
There's a lot
movie too. There's so many good Jewish references.
The best line I wrote down is because there's a whole running gag throughout the movie that the one friend, they made a bet that he doesn't shave his like facial hair for a whole year. They'll pay his rent, and so they just make fun of him. Like every scene he's in, they're making fun of him. And one of the last scenes is Leslie Mann looks at him and she turns to Paul Rudd and she goes, "Is that Ben's rabbi?"
And then Paul Rudd, I think that's Modest Yahoo.
Is he here to circumcise the baby? I was like, what? It's a girl, first of all. Watch out.
true.
Relax.
That's true. I think that is the line that makes Martin Starr from Freaks and Geeks say, I don't want to do this anymore.
He gives up. He loses the bet.
Of all the things like they called him like from Al-Qaeda, like geez, like that was bad. Like they called him so many horrible things.
Yes.
Throughout the whole movie, and him being called a rabbi and modest Yahoo made him say, I'm out of this bet.
It's so funny. Oh my god. And we do get a cameo as well from Ken. Oh
yes.
What the fuck? Hold on. Ken Jeong, I think is how we pronounce it. Who
very
was
famous actor,
a real life doctor, which is the funnest of facts. He plays a substitute doctor, argues with Alison. I didn't understand their argument because at one point he has to turn the baby manually because the heart rate's dropping, and then he's like, I'm worried the umbilical cord's wrapped around the neck. We want to try to like move your birth along. So he says, we're going to give you, like, to me, I thought he was saying, I'm going to give you drugs to induce you further. But her whole thing was, I don't want pain drugs. But then she was like, that's not part of my plan, doctor, to drugs. And I was like, but they're different drugs. So like, can't you still not have pain drugs? And then she doesn't have pain drugs anyway.
He just had very horrible bedside manner.
Okay.
Obviously.
Okay.
And when Katherine Heigl is about to give birth and she's like in pain and like freaking out and scared and she thinks she's about to die.
Yeah.
He's like, we're gonna do this, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, what? So I think it was just his bedside manner was awful.
He kept saying, and I hated this, and I don't know if we were doing it on purpose to make him look like a jerk or if Judd Apatow thought this was normal to say, which I don't like, is he just kept talking about the safety of the baby and he never talks about the safety of the mom. And I fucking hate that because that's like such a goddamn statistic, and in our country at least. High mortality rate. So can we like focus on both? Thanks.
And when you're a first time mom, oh my god, you're right, Stormy Daniels.
Yeah.
When you're a first time mom, sorry, squirrel. You are terrified. And like your doctor is the one who's supposed to be like, you're gonna be okay as well as your baby. Just not just the baby.
Being supportive. I know. And, Leslie Mann gets kicked out of the birthing room. It seemed like anybody could be in there. I don't know why we gotta, like, make it like the club where there's a line to get in.
I think that it was another push to make Ben seem more likable.
Sure.
He's like, that's my baby. That's my kind of girlfriend. Maybe.
Who knows?
That's my baby mama. I'm gonna be in that room. You're not gonna be there because this is a special moment for me and my baby and my Alison.
My Alison.
I don't know what they even are at this point. They're nothing, but...
Yeah, and she gives birth to a little baby girl.
The birth goes quite quickly.
Oh, yeah, well.
I would say.
Once we do our fake crowning that's not crowning,
Yeah. That was, I would say that was probably a very, one of the quicker situations. And I mean, I guess that does happen. Like, my friends who have had babies are now, of course, telling me all of their horrible birthing stories and their good birthing stories. My one friend just told me she got to the hospital and 17 minutes later she had her kid.
See, this is what I'm saying, though. I'm not going to sit in the bathtub to wait around for my doctor. Like, I'm moving. Like, I'm going somewhere. What if it pops out?
I don't know if she could have even driven herself at that point. Is Uber a thing in 2007?
No, but they did use taxis. There was, like, a lot of taxi references that they were doing. So, I don't know. I think Ben was driving, though.
I think he drove her car because on the way to her house, his car was running out of gas.
Yeah. And there is a line... guys, it's a made-up fantasy movie. Alison's like, then now we're gonna live together. And I was like,
I don't know. I mean, this movie had already gone on for 2 hours, so maybe that's why the producers, directors, writers were like, okay, we just gotta wrap it up now.
Button it up, okay?
Yep.
They're back together. No one has questions. It's all good. And then I did like the ending credits, so they showed all like baby pictures of the cast and probably other people, and it was really cute.
The baby turning 1, that baby they used was a very cute baby.
I know, with the little blue eyes and the chubby cheeks. Oh my god!
But the baby that comes out of Katherine Heigl is a
real baby?
10-month-old.
Oh, I was like, whose baby is it? What's the fun fact?
I don't know. But did you see how large that baby was?
That was a big one. Oh,
it was a humongous baby.
Ouchie.
It was like a almost 1-year-old baby. And then when it's like cuts to another scene and then it cuts back to Katherine Heigl holding the baby, and you could see they've like switched it out for like a doll that's like birth size.
Like back to small baby size.
Right.
Yeah.
We couldn't use a 1-month-old for this scene.
I don't think
now we can.
I don't think so. Apparently, one of the fun facts was Judd Apatow did want to have a real life birth, like filming a different woman actually giving birth and put it in the movie. But there's child labor laws that even the infant, the just seconds old infant, would have had to have a work visa. So he couldn't use anything like that because he would have had to pay the baby legally.
I don't even have anything to say.
I don't know.
In response
Me neither. I'm like, Judd Apatow, what was your life like in 2007?
I think they did a pretty good job of showing just enough to make like 20-year-olds freak out and be disgusting. And that's who the target audience was, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like our age at the time.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, it seemed to be, despite her not ever having any pain drugs or epidural, it seemed to be quite an easy birth.
I want my baby to come into the world partying, you know?
Shoot 'em up. My birth plan, which is not written down, which I guess I should write it down.
It's just in your brain. It's fine.
My birth plan is I would like the anesthesiologist to be in the room before I am.
Yeah, pumped and ready.
Be ready.
Gonna jump you. Yeah, Jen, you said it's 17 minutes. I mean, they gotta be on that.
If it happens in 17 minutes, ain't no way an anesthesiologist is getting there in time.
I just worry that my body, because I've had so many dental procedures that I feel like my body is built up. And I know they don't use Novocaine, but like my body's really built up resistance to like certain types of pain meds. And I'm like, what if like it doesn't work and I'm sad?
Sad all day.
Anyway, that's my insecurity. But Jen, important question. Would you watch or don't watch Knocked Up?
Oh, God. You know, I am glad I watched it again now.
Yeah.
So that I know I never have to watch it again.
I like that answer because I think I feel the same way.
Because in my mind, Knocked Up and Forgetting Sarah Marshall are like on the same. We watched them at the same time.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're at the same level. They are not at the same level.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall's definitely up here.
Oh, superior. Yes. This was a good movie to rewatch to know I'll keep this one in the nostalgia.
In your
part
heart.
of my brain. In my heart.
Keep it in your heart, locked up.
I'm pretty sure this movie is over 2 hours long.
It was.
Also.
That was fucking long.
It's incredible.
It could have ended when she broke up with him at the gynecologist. Like, I was like, perfect ending. But nope. We kept going, so.
Would you watch this movie again?
I like your answer, and I'm gonna copy-paste it, personally.
Copy-paste.
You know. And if you've never seen it, give it a watch. Understand the times.
Yeah, no, it is definitely a period piece.
Yeah, if you've had up a bay, you might be like, guys, what are you doing? But, yeah, there are some good lines shoved in there, so. Well, Jen, normally this is the part where we would announce our next movie, but I don't know what that's gonna be. So
that's
we're
okay.
Skipping it, and we're pushing to the birth plan, and instead, I'm going to say, Jen, I just want to say... Oh boy. Yeah, this could be an uh-oh. Let's think for you. All right, Jen, if you think you're going into labor and Caitlin is at Legoland, she's unavailable... I don't know why she's at Legoland, but she's there. And you call me and you say, oh my God, Katie, I need help. I can't get the doctor. I don't know what's happening. I need the anesthesiologist. Hurry it up. I would call the hospital and be like, get your shit together. We're coming down. And I pick you up and I drive you there. And I wouldn't kick other people out of the room because I don't know what's happening.
Like my mom.
I wouldn't. No, Barb should be in there.
Barb can stay.
Barb can be there. And I would do that for you because I love you.
You're a great friend.
Wow.
And I would like to say that if I was on a website that had a list of sex offenders that all lived in your area.
I forgot about that. God.
And you were making a joke about it, I wouldn't tell you to care more.
Care more. We didn't talk about care more, but we say that a lot too. Care more. Oh, we all all should
I
care
hope you
about
don't live
that.
near sex offenders, by the way.
I think everybody does.
I'm sure.
Which I know is
haven't
like
looked.
an upsetting fact, but
I also wouldn't find a website that would show you Meg Ryan's bush.
thanks, Jen. Appreciate
Because
that.
you're my friend.
Thank you.
And I care about you.
Oh, so sweet. Oh, and listeners, if you also would care more about the sex offenders, please care about that. And if you would support your best friend either when they're going to labor and or if they thought their partner was cheating on them and invited you to go do a stakeout, unveiling, whatever. And if you think that, you know, if someone wants to have a smoshsmortion, they should be allowed to, number one. Number two, we need to adopt smoshsmortion into our vocabulary. And number three, smoshsmortion is healthcare. All women's healthcare is healthcare. And make sure you vote in November. Thank you. Good night.
Thank
Love
you.
you. All right.
I don't think they actually ever say the word abortion because he says a word and then he goes, it rhymes with smoshsmortion. Maybe they weren't allowed to say the word abortion.
Fucking probably. And if I find out there's some connection to Spider-Man 3 with that, I will protest. Okay?
Oh, there has to be.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Well, listeners, it's been real. Jen, thank you so much. I love
Thanks
this.
for having me.
Oh my God.
You're the best.
This was great.
I miss Bridget.
I do too. She'll be back.
Oh,
We'll
good.
see her soon, I think. So, I gotta talk about our website. LOL, we have a website too. Listeners, yes, we also have a website, sisterswhoseenit.com. On our website, you can request a movie. So there is a form you can fill out. Jen has made some requests. Jen, you made a request for Shrek, and you did say your name was Seymour Butts, and Bridget did not get that, and I had to explain it, so that was a time for me. But guys, that could be you. Any movie you like, it goes in a list, and we look at the list every now and then, and we will do it eventually. And
Yay.
we also have merchandise. Okay, so there are some funny lines on there. I do feel like some quotes from this movie could probably be turned into something funny. Care more, smoshsmortion. I don't know. That's exactly right. Don't drink and bone. You know, like there's just a bundle of them. Just a baby bundle of them. So check those out. And we hope to hear from you. Well, listeners, we'll see you next time. It's been real. Wear a condom, guys. If you don't want a
Wear a
baby,
condom.
that is. I don't know.
Or a dental dam.
A dental dam? What the hell is a dental dam?
Gotta go.
I love you.
Love you.
I love you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Sisters Who Seen It. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website at sisterswhoseenit.com, where you can email us, request movies to be reviewed, and keep up to date with all things sisters. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you next week.